Finish the con.
Take Battlestar 2 instead.
Yeah.
Why do you think it sold so low?
Oh, this guy.
ARLO.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What? Okay. I'll meet you the real. Just like go wait outside in the cold.
Promise this time.
I promise. It's my soul. Go to you. Wherever I keep it, I'll find that.
Oh wait, Death, I think there's someone else that might die sometime soon. There's someone coming called Ben, and it's either going to be him or this Brian dude. They're going to duke it out. It's going to be really messy. I got tickets.
One of them ain't gonna survive.
Just saying, I've seen Ben, and Ben looks like the got the bill of a 12-year-old girl.
Oh.
I don't know too much about Brian. He knows coming through. Yeah.
Super cool guy. He's really good at fighting.
What if Arlo already says that he's dead inside? Will you still take him?
Yeah. I'm pretty dead. I'm a pretty depressed dead person. Yeah.
No dead person can eat as much as you do.
Actually, that makes more sense because like he's dead, he won't be satisfied with any amount of food.
It's true. I'm like those ghosts in the
It's like
castle.
he's trying to fill the void with carbs.
Yeah.
Carbs are great
Pretty good
void
argument.
filler. Like,
ARLO.
Yes.
Your trickery cannot save you.
Sure can.
I am not
Yeah.
used to it.
Yeah.
Silence!
Sorry.
I had it with your nonsense.
It's much less intimidating without the voice. Lower. You sound like a guy in a hollow duck mask. I think you laughed at duck mask like pumps because you're breathing. Oh, that runs this place. Breath is the pump.
I must go before I become dead myself.
Thanks for coming, Death. Everybody give Death a Christmas is coming up. I need this at the day.
Starting at 5:30.
You'll die from a life-size chocolate sandwich.
Yeah, oh man. I come very close to death every Christmas.
Don't we all?
Yeah, right. It's a bad time. Yes. And 1 and 3. Like all the Bayonetta 2 world. Yeah. I haven't played any of the games. I played the demo. I played the demo for 2 on the Wii U, and it was pretty cool. I don't know if I'll get around to playing them all the way, but like it was really cool to put it.
Oh, do you want to answer that question about the hands?
What was it? Oh yes, the way that I have all the hands in the video. I just do 2 different shots on my green screen. One is just the head, and one is both hands.
Oh.
And I watch, like I'll render a like rough version of the video and watch it while I'm also reading the script and looking at my monitor and just doing the hands above my head, and then I just put them together.
Wow. Yeah, I thought Arlo looked a little wider in some scenes where he's doing both hand movements. I just thought he was getting
because
great.
like the body doesn't come. Yeah, it's a little awkward to pull off, and then I guess my editor stinks, and I still don't know how to do green screen, so there's like kind of a outline around the hands. It's not really perfect, but it's a job done, I guess.
So you just like sit on the floor and like awkwardly like cramp up your arms while you film?
Yeah, like I'll
talking about yesterday.
sort of, oh my gosh, yeah. Gotta do like this. Just do that, like just raise that up into the screen. It's like, and like you have to like follow along with what you're saying and like try to make it like natural. It's pretty tricky, but
How about those table shots?
yeah, like so like tables aren't very high and they're not high enough for a person to just like sit. Like, yep, okay, yeah. We did some stuff in my dining room, and I just scrunched so low to be out of the shot, and it's extremely painful. Like, I mean, I don't know. Situation here, just kind of here. Like this. Okay, well that's too high, so I gotta like come down like this, and then I kind of gotta scrunch my back down while holding myself up. But that's still too high. I'm still in the shot. Like, okay. Hey, Lockstin, how you doing?
I'll bring that to the rest of the panel. No way. Okay, no joke. Have you ever considered getting one of those like rocking gaming chairs that GameStop has? You know those big ones that can lean back as far as possible?
It would be really nice. That's how like most professional puppeteers, they'll have like rigs
Kind of
that
like a high up thing.
yeah, like rigs that roll around. I
Yeah,
go
yeah,
on table
thinking-
view. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think GameStop has those chairs for like $30. It's not
I've been
bad.
thinking. I don't shoot enough outside of the studio for me to like be. I don't know. To, like make a decision about it. You know. But
Hey, you can make a Christmas request.
maybe I find the right thing.
Although you could make an animatronic and perhaps you get haunted too.
What I missed?
I did a funny thing where I showed them how far down I have to scrunch to do shots at a table.
He was
Huge
dead. He also
laugh.
missed death. He was here.
Yeah, you missed
Yeah,
that.
he,
was like
he
throwing
came,
out
came to
shots.
claim either you or Ben, depending on who wins the fight.
Definitely. See these fists on cameras, bro.
It's true.
Punched him.
Anyway,
Any other questions?
any other questions?
Actually,
Yeah.
so I feel like one of the marks of becoming successful on YouTube is that you start getting weird, somewhat creepy fan fiction written about you. Have you
Is there any
guys,
fan fiction of me? Does
have you
anyone
guys
know?
gotten any
I
yet?
had some weird fan fiction.
Yeah?
Like
I'll read it.
I just tweeted one time, or I think I didn't make an update video. I couldn't record because there were like 3 crickets stuck in my wall in the apartment, and like nothing was getting rid of them. So it was just blaringly loud crickets throughout the whole apartment. And so someone wrote like a 20-page epic about me battling with giant crickets.
That's not weird, that's just great.
I'm gonna find that again.
Yeah, it's really weird, like, to remember that you're, like, I don't know, affecting people. Like, just like you put a thing out there and it's like, people see this.
I now want your dramatic reading of Kangaroo reading.
Yeah.
You make a YouTube video of
Bring
that.
that next year.
Lockstin, you did that video where you told the story time about Mimikyu. Why not the story time about the crickets?
Definitely. If I can find that again, that's actually a really good idea.
And Arlo did the story time of Mario was missing.
That's one of my favorite videos, by the way. That also reminds me of yesterday. My neighbor, like one of those like water like pressure cleaners, where it just like shoots out water and it's really loud, and he just like started it up right when we started shooting, and it was really difficult to shoot.
And had to work around.
We like
it on.
waited for it to stop, and like literally a 5-second shot. All I had to do, I don't want to spoil anything, but I had to like close the door and open it, and he says a line, and like literally I'm closing the door. We just spent like 20 minutes setting up. Like, I mean, literally 5 seconds we would have had it. The rest of it, the video would have been perfect. So that's another thing about making videos. It's just
Gotta work around the sound that's around you.
lazy. And then those birds started fighting. Yes.
So we know that Game Freak is making a main Pokemon game on the Switch. Do you think it's going to be like a Sinnoh remake, or do you think it's going to be like a whole new generation?
It's going to be a Gen 1 remake, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
I think so.
Really?
Just because there's no hints really at anything besides that. In the most recent Pokemon movie, there's a scene in the professor's lab, and there's paintings of each of the regions, and they're all like, most of them are pretty obvious. Like one's obviously Nova, one's obviously Kanto, but then there's another one that we haven't seen before, but it's 1-to-1 with actual Kanto Japan. So like if you took the Kanto map of Pokemon and expanded it significantly and then mirrored it, it's 1-to-1 with Kanto Japan, which to me says a Gen 1 remake, but like more real scale as opposed to super small scale. So like a semi-open world Pokemon.
A lot of people are thinking that they're actually going to have Pokemon wandering through the grass like actual models instead of
That'd be
just
really cool. I mean,
random.
they have the power to do that now.
That would be really different. That's
They
all I
can't have a
know.
telebattle system.
I can't, and like just the other day I was trying to brainstorm like what other like names they could use, and I couldn't come up with any. I feel like they've used just about all the really good like this and that. And I was like, and like I finally was like, oh, Omega and oh yeah, right. Like they wasted one of the good ones on a remake. I don't know. So he's the Pokemon guy. I'll just leave that answer to you there. Yes.
What's your opinion on the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp now?
I haven't played it yet.
Do it.
It looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Like it looked like just a cool little mini version of Animal Crossing, but I don't really have the time or the patience for that kind of game at this point, so I don't know how much I'd enjoy it. And my tablet's broken.
That would do it.
Yeah, so not sure yet.
Still not getting fixed from Splatoon 2 review.
No. Probably for a year.
The guy in the Pokemon hat.
Oh, new one.
Okay, Lockstin. What is your favorite video that you made in the past year?
I really, really enjoyed the video about Pac-Man's calorie intake.
I love that video.
The research for it was like some of the most fun I've ever had researching, because where do you start with that? What in the world is a pellet?
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, the fruit, it's obviously the fruit, but then what is a pellet? And then you have to find out, just through research, I happened to stumble upon some translations that are called biscuits. But what kind of biscuit? Because biscuit means like 40 different things in different languages. So it was just so much fun to research, and then filming it was a lot of fun too, because I threw in the sponsors and everything, like over the top. And it was just fun.
Alright.
For me?
Yeah.
Yes, hey, I know you probably never had any man or woman on planet Earth ask you this question, but did PBS ever try to come after you guys because your puppet looks similar to Grover from Sesame Street?
Not yet. But I do get a tremendous amount of people calling me Cookie Monster.
Yeah, just as long as he's not fat like the Cookie Monster or have a blue nose like Grover, I don't think y'all get in trouble.
I think I'm alright, and I got like the hair.
Yeah.
And I think it's alright.
Alright, that's good.
But
Also,
people
it's
really
successful
do. I mean, like
all the
any event like this, like I'll walk around after this and watch people be like Cookie Monster, like grabbing their kids.
Oh, this is my last question, but speaking of Cookie Monster, now that everything is changing thanks to the PC movement and the feminist movement, the Cookie Monster no longer eats cookies. If you watch the new episodes of Sesame Street, now he's the vegetable monster.
That's actually a common misconception. He still eats cookies.
But just not as much.
He eats a lot of other stuff too, but the idea that he was vegetable monster now is that came up a few years ago. It's not exactly true.
Oh, he just has to die down on the cookies a little bit.
He still eats them like as like the punchline for a gag or whatever, but don't worry, he's still blue. Still eats cookies.
All right, thank you.
And I have no affiliation with him whatsoever. Just so you know. A lot of hands.
Yes, Lockstin, what's your opinion on the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games?
I like them more than the base games.
Yeah.
Yes!
They look cool. I never played them.
The gameplay in general is just a lot better.
Yeah, the lore and stuff and like explores of time is just like insane.
Just don't play games to it.
PMD for Switch.
Yeah,
Well, I
that'd be
mean,
cool.
Spike Chunsoft is a Switch developer.
Well, yeah, because they probably have to make a Mystery Dungeon game now, because I think they've done it since Poland. They've done one for every gen, so they're probably have to watch stuff.
That'd be a nice placeholder, like while we're reading through the game.
Yeah, instead of like Pokemon runs, I don't want that.
Remember Pokemon Dash?
Yeah, Dash.
Vaguely. One of you two, you take it.
I was going to ask, what would your opinion be if they decided to make a game, the Pokemon series, based on that one section of the new movie where Ash was in like the real world or whatever?
I didn't see that. I don't
Actually, I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. There was just a section when Ash wakes up and he's somehow in the real world and there's no Pokemon. Yeah. So what would your opinion be if that was a game based on Ash had a concept? Ash in the coma.
Like an Ash.
Coma theory is real.
Super Ash Odyssey. I don't know. I have no idea. That's weird. Really weird. Yes.
So if Shrabadubada was Super Mario Odyssey and Scribble Glooble Schmet was Metroid Prime 4, what in the mysterious tongue of ARLOs is your exclamation of excitement for picking?
It will be. Let's think. Look forward to that. I plan these out very carefully before I do them.
I think we're all going to hold you to that now.
I will.
Yes.
Hey, it's recorded.
Myself?
Yes.
So this question is for Arlo, and I want to ask you specifically because 2016 was a really tough year for Nintendo, and I think compared to that year, how much of a giant jump is 2017 in comparison for you?
Like a trillion million? What's the best number you know?
Think of the amount of zeros in trillion and add trillion zeros after that.
Yeah, it's night and day. They were just down in the dumps, didn't have any products anyone wanted, making no money, and then it was just like, and then even just like fan satisfaction. It was just like, just like and now there's just a million games I want to play, and it's like, what is this? Like, this is.
They won their first Game of the Year award.
Yeah, Game of the Year for a while. It's like, it was so drastic, I can't believe it happened in 1 year. It seems unreal. It seems like the kind of thing you have to like build up to. But they were just like, that's the Wii U, now it's Switch. Then everything just exploded. So I don't know, it's incalculable how much better. And it's great as a YouTuber who focuses on Nintendo, who was like, oh man, my favorite company, it's just not gonna be a good channel. I like just started up and it's just gonna be nothing but complaining forever. This is good for me.
Paper Mario.
Did you have anything?
Star Fox.
I don't, before I move on too fast. Yes, those two.
Now that I think about it, when I look at your puppet, hey, you grew up in the 80s or 90s?
I'm born in 87.
When I look at your puppet, he kind of reminds me of one of those puppets from that old school Nick Jr. show called Elrica's Castle.
That's a good show.
Don't you remember it?
I do.
He looks like one of the puppets that was obsessed with peanut butter and jelly. They hung out with Batley, Magellan the Dragon, and Mr. Fix, and and Elrica, the Queen of the Castle. He just looks like he's dead on from that show.
I don't remember that character, but I do.
Which one?
Peanut butter and jelly.
No, you remember the two monsters? The two monsters that was obsessed with peanut butter and jelly. The orange one was obsessed with peanut butter, and the purple one was obsessed with jelly.
Yeah, I guess that was too long ago for me to remember.
I know you remember Magellan the Dragon, do you?
I remember a dragon. I don't remember any of the names or anything.
His name was Magellan, and Elrica was basically the queen of the castle. And when the show starts, the giant walks in going, and he looks at the castle, and he turns it, and then the show starts.
Yeah.
He just looks like he's from that show.
I'll have to look it up.
All right.
Maybe I'm infringing on some copyright. I don't know. Yeah, I do, yeah. We all come from somewhere. Yes.
Was the director of A Way Out being horrendously drunk the best part of the Game Awards or the worst part of the Game Awards?
It was a highlight for sure. I wasn't sure if he was drunk or not, but he was certainly entertaining. That was really excellent.
Someone actually did a Tommy Was So joke where it's like, I did not steal the Game Awards. I did not. Well, hi, Jeff.
He kind of gave that vibe, didn't he? Yeah. They had to cut him off.
The best part was somebody photoshopped the screen cap from the Death Stranding trailer where it was like the baby inside of Norman Reedus. They photoshopped and stuff was that guy hooking off the camera.
Norman Reedus and the funky fetus.
I love people. I love them so much. You! Yeah.
So after beating Super Mario Odyssey, there's something that happens. I don't want to say in case someone here hasn't played it. But what was your reaction to that thing that happened immediately after the credits roll?
Like reading the initial story or 100%
After you read the initial story, there's something that happens, like you're somewhere.
Oh.
I think you understand what I'm talking about?
I can't think of any one thing particularly.
Peach.
But I loved it. Yeah. Yes. I thought that was really, really, really excellent.
It's clever.
It was. I loved it.
It's a way to be able to do this.
Yeah. Very, very good. Back there.
Okay, out of the nominees for Game of the Year, what did both of you two think would have been Game of the Year, or voted for?
I figured it would have been Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I was like, I would have bet money on it. I was pretty sure it was going to be.
I wanted to be Odyssey, but I figured Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but I would have bet at least $29.
Not 30 though.
No, that's too much. I'm not that confident. Yes.
So, comment for Lockstin, question for Arlo. Or no, other way around. Comment for Arlo is, I forgot to say, you told us on Twitter to say, hey ho, wiggle, wiggle, flim, flam, to see you today.
Thank
so there you go. There's that.
Thank you.
My question for Lockstin is, so when Gen 8, I guess, I'm assuming they're going to make a Gen 8 because it makes money. It comes out, are you going to continue the whole Alchemy series?
I don't know. Right now, I am working on like redoing it, sort of, with just there's the one video covering the Solgaleo aspect, one video covering the Lunala aspect, and that's going to continue just because the lore is there. It's just the end aspect of it, it's just a spin I took. So I'd continue delving into the lore, but I wouldn't do the same spin.
Question for both of you, and it's a serious question this time. So, given the whole concept of the Switch, both of you, one video game, any video game you want that is on home console, portable, your choice.
Like one that already exists?
One that already exists. Just pick one game out of any game ever made that you would want portably.
Probably Pikmin 2.
Wow. I mean, it'll be there eventually. Or at least Pikmin.
Yeah, I'll Pikmin will be.
I don't know. Just because I never really play games on the go, so I don't know what games would benefit me for that.
I got one. Dragon's Crown, being able to do 2-player with Joy-Cons. Like
that'd be really cool, actually. There you go, Dragon's
Hey,
Crown.
my friend.
Good guess.
In Dragon's Crown, the Amazon was hot.
Okay.
Back there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you next, because I keep passing over you.
So I have this question to ask because I'm also a content creator, and I've been doing this whole YouTube thing for roughly about 5 years, and even though I've amassed over the years a nice amount of subscribers, I do have those moments sometimes when I just have this creator's block that I want to make something, but I kind of basically go 50% of the process and then I just sort of stop. How do you guys deal with, any kind of creator's block when you have an idea and then you're like, you know what, I'm just going to shelve this and I just don't want to bother with this anymore?
That's the only one.
I don't know. At any given time, I've got like a really big list of ideas for videos, and and sometimes I'll even start a script, and then just kind of hit like a point where I just need to put it away for a while, and then maybe later I'll just kind of break through and write the rest of it, and then most often I'll look back at my list and be like, I don't want to do half of these anymore. So I don't know. It's just a very ongoing process of just kind of what works at the moment. Like, what's going to be this week? I don't know. This one. That looks fun. So, unless it's all reviews and stuff, in which case it writes itself. Deadlines.
I don't run into that problem too much because I usually work months at a time. So I'll be writing a video, then I'll write the next video. So I'm never working on just one video. I'm working on one, and then I finish the first part, then I'll do the first part of another, then the first part of another, and then the second part of one, and then the first part of another. It's weird and it's complex. Because I don't schedule anything out. I just do whatever I feel like at the time. Do I feel like writing? Do I feel like editing? Do I feel like doing voiceovers today? And that way, I always have an option for one of the parts of the process. That helps me with creative block, just because if I'm not in the mood to edit, I don't have to edit. I can just write another video.
It's a good idea, actually. Thank you. I might actually try that.
Oh yeah, back then, yeah.
We already covered a little while ago about how this last year has kind of been like a new renaissance for Nintendo's performance of the last few years during the Wii U era. But one thing that I've really felt that Nintendo really hasn't been able to particularly improve upon is probably the only really good thing they did during the Wii U era was with the concept of Amiibo. I still don't really feel like there hasn't been a particularly large enough application for Amiibo to really particularly justify their existence beyond just the fact that they are featuring essentially just iconic characters that we can't essentially have in figure form. And so basically, what do you imagine as being probably the best way to actually to incorporate Amiibo in a way that actually kind of justifies the presence of the Amiibo and actually kind of in a way requires the Amiibo to be a thing, and it's not just a ripoff of Skylanders.
I agree with you. I think, yeah,
They're not done quite right.
they're not, and it's still a problem. And I actually, excitingly, I have a video coming up. Whenever I can get it done. I started shooting it, so I wrote it. because it's one of those projects that just kind of getting passed around. Where I kind of like talking as him but not doing it. Where I don't know, just like talk about the whole thing and like yeah, like it is weird, and I kind of go over a couple like scenarios. I think they could still make a game, make like a Toys to Life game that kind of like everything centers around it. It would be hard, especially because the thing with like Skylanders, like every Skylanders is going to work on that game, but now they have 6 trillion amiibos. How do you like make those all into characters? Like who's going to play as like random Animal Crossing characters? Like that doesn't make sense. So I don't know, it's a little complicated. I think they could still do it though, and I think they still should.
They could just make a Skylanders type game, and that would vaguely justify their existence.
Yeah.
What about a Mario Maker type game, but with like every Nintendo franchise that Amiibo kind of wants to go?
Like a Zelda Dungeon Maker.
Or like
Make an indie people do it for them.
Disney Infinity Toy Box.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. It'd be cool. I'd like it if it was like an adventure game or something, but I don't know. It would be a thing. Wait for my video. That's my real answer. Becca.
Around E3 when they announced the Mario and Luigi remake, you mentioned that you thought the Bowser's Minions would be good. Did you ever end up actually playing that?
I not did either. I asked for a review copy and I did not get it. So it just didn't happen. That's how my games go right now. It's like what games I get and play is just, did I get a review copy? No? Okay, probably not going to play it. It still looks good and I still really want to play it.
You don't have as much time for games anymore.
No, like none.
This is more of a question for you, Lockstin, but for you too, ARLO. How did you get past that like, initial block by reviews that you got and get on video? Like,
My answer's easy, because he's on his channel.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Like, because usually small channels only get like 200 views and they don't get recommended at all. How did you get past that?
I slowly just started learning the analytics system. It's kind of sad now, but the way YouTube works is you have to know the analytics system in order to get it there.
Gotta know how to game it.
Or just stumble into it. There's plenty of big YouTubers that accidentally happen to follow the system really well. But the main thing is just keep producing content. Never make content worse than any previous things. Like just keep improving steadily, stay the same level of quality also, but just never fall back and at least upload once a week. YouTube will actually not recommend a video from a channel that doesn't upload at least once a week.
But on the other hand, if your video doesn't get as many views as your previous one, you're not going to tell everyone in your subscriber list about your video. So if you have a video that's too bad, then that's going to affect your later ones. So it has to be once a week and always really good.
Yeah.
And it's a real big pain. YouTube is in a bad place right now.
Yeah, especially because like a video can still be really good, it just isn't clickbaity. So it could be the best video you ever made, but people won't watch it unless the thumbnail is super clickbaity grabby.
So strange.
So like it's a science.
Cause it's not like you guys aren't known. Like, cause I see both of your guys' names brought up online in places all the time. So the fact that you guys have trouble with that is weird to me. Like I know it's a YouTube thing, but
Yeah, it's hard, and like the sad truth is that like YouTube, even just a year ago, was different. It was so much easier. Like I feel like I just barely made it in time before everything kind of tanked, and now it's like harder than ever for new people to do anything, to get anywhere. But yeah, just consistency.
I think we have time for one more.
One more. Rochambeau.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. It's just more of the response to YouTube. Like, where would you guys move from YouTube if YouTube just collapses on its own?
If YouTube completely collapses, I have a backup with ABC. I worked at ABC before I did YouTube, so I can always go back and just do the TV production.
I mean, like, even just like doing the same videos you guys do. I mean, like,
I've thought about going onto Amazon Prime before. Amazon Prime Video. They actually do a lot better than YouTube in terms of payout for creators. But your videos have to be completely squeaky clean. So I wouldn't be able to produce video game content unless I contacted Nintendo saying, hey, I need to buy the copyright from you to have rights to mention Mario.
So it'd be harder to.
So I wouldn't be able to do the same thing I'm doing now, but I could produce videos for Amazon Prime.
I don't have a lot of faith. I feel like the only company in the entire world that could do something is Twitch. Like I feel like if they
offering direct uploads now.
yeah, like that's the to me, that's the only one that feels like it's got a user base large enough to create a system. They've already got gamers. That's the thing. It's like any other like video service. Like you don't have a lot of like foot traffic. Twitch is all gamers, and then beyond that, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, that would be smart for Twitch to just even do channels for just videos.
I was gonna
They
actually,
need to.
I was gonna actually ask if you had any plans for Twitch, so.
I do want to start streaming.
I love the idea of streaming it, or even just doing Let's Plays still.
I would honestly watch an ARLO stream like religiously.
Yeah, yeah, I miss ARLO Plays. I really miss it, but it just wasn't getting enough views to justify the time.
I think the intro of that was really catchy.
Thank you. I thought so. My friend made the music.